Well, good afternoon, everyone. They told me 15 minutes to talk, and then we'll take questions for 15 minutes. I had 15 minutes to rag on Mike Gallagher ready to go, so that's not even a start. So I'll shorten it down. I've opened a GoFundMe for Mike's clothes, so if you will all please and try and give him $10 or $15, because really, we folks, Mike and I have been working together for 25 years. You know, I'm only 50, but I spent 4 of those years at MSNBC, so I look like I'm 70. Mike and I have been working together for so long. I'm so used to his not being very nice to me, but I still try and help him out, but I cannot do anything about the wardrobe. And so we all got to come together on that. I also want to thank Alfredo. Are you over there, Alfredo? Oh, there you are. He didn't put his glasses on. And you see, I walked out today and he didn't have his glasses on. He's been on my show so much, but then he went and had the cataract or the new lenses or something so he can see again. Now I never recognize him. So like 20 years of Alfredo with glasses, and he was going to put them on for me today. Don't worry about that. I can do that. I'm only going to cover very few things because I still think we're kind of concussed. It's been 100 days plus 2 since President Trump returned to office. It's been barely, not even 6 months yet. So it's been 5 months and 28 days since he was reelected in November. It's only been 10 months since the most dispositive debate in history when Joe Biden and we took care of Medicare. I don't know what he said. That was really kind of the most memorable debate moment in the many years I've been watching and conducting debates. And it's only been 9 months since President Trump was shot in the head. So it's been, I think as a country, we're kind of concussed, and that so much has happened in such a brief period of time, it's pretty hard to find anything thematic. So I was trying to get my thoughts gathered up, and to get ready to talk about government, I did the unbelievable. I went to the Department of Motor Vehicles yesterday. Now, last week I was in California. I was teaching this quarter at Chapman Law School, and so as I was flying back, I went through Chicago, and every time I encountered TSA, real ID next week, real ID. I said, well, I've got my passport here, not to worry. I said, I got real ID, it's really going to happen this time. So I said, okay, I'll go to the Department of Motor Vehicles. Got my passport, got my valid Virginia driver's license. I thought, I'm going to go bigger. I'm going to get the actual Social Security card. And I said, no, I'm going to go bigger. I'm going to get my birth certificate. So I got my passport, my driver's license, my birth certificate, and my Social Security card. Wait an hour in line, and I got there a half hour early to get to the counter at the DMV, and I did not have a utility bill. And therefore, I was not allowed to have my real ID. And I said, I've got a passport. I can get on a plane. This is a United States passport. I've been places, see? No, not allowed to get. DMV is government. And I always tell people, so I immediately went home. I'll go back tomorrow or on Monday. And there on my counter were a half dozen "this is not a bill" letters from Medicare. I'm sure those of you who are over 65 get the "this is not a bill" mail. DOJ never got close to that. I'm waiting for DOJ to go to Medicare and stop the "this is not a bill." But as I stood in line, I thought to myself, well, I've got a few things to say to them. Number one, Donald Trump is already a winner no matter how they write the rest of the 4 years, and I'll tell you why. The border for the last 4 years, it was usual to have between 5,000 and 10,000 people per day for 4 years come over the border, and those are that we knew about. Now, I'm a border hawk and a regularization dove, but you just can't let 5,000 people into the border, over the border a day for 4 years and not have adverse consequences. And I spent a lot of time in Southern California, and I didn't know how he would get it done. He kept saying he was going to close the border. Well, the border is, in fact, closed. It's 99.99%. Nobody comes over. They had like a dozen people last week encounter the Border Patrol. That is, to me, the dispositive proof of leadership, and that whatever else happens, and there's a lot going to happen. President Trump's getting a lot done. If you heard Administrator Zeldin, the number of regs that they're rolling back so quickly, I'm sure Administrator Loeffler will tell us the same thing going on at SBA. So much more to be done, but yet in 100 days the border is closed. That is the equivalent of what the Republicans did in the aftermath of the Civil War. They waved the bloody flag for 40 years. No one will trust Democrats about the border for the next 40 years. because they said we needed to pass a law, we needed the Congress to go along with it, we needed more border patrol, we need more facility. No, in fact, what you needed was a commitment, a visible and expressive messaging commitment. So Trump's already won. Point number two, legacy media and Democrats. I repeat myself, legacy media and Democrats. They don't quite understand what's happened yet, and they don't have a narrative yet, and they do not now cover the border at all. They want to cover trade, they want to cover an upheaval here or there, a change out in the administration here or there, a bump in the road here or there. They don't want to look at the amazing story. It's sort of like the monolith in 2001, A Space Odyssey. There is this extraordinary story that 10 to 20 million people came in over 4 years, and now it's stopped because of Donald Trump. They are still concussed, and indeed, they have not yet figured out that their audience isn't coming back for more of beating up on Donald Trump. It worked for a couple of years, 2017, 2018, and then a couple of impeachments entertained them, didn't succeed, but it no longer works. He's now invulnerable, like the old king in Herodotus, who took every kind of poison a little bit so he could not be poisoned. Donald Trump is invulnerable to any story. Doesn't matter what the story is, because there's nothing left to do. He's actually been shot in the head. There's nothing left that can be done to him. He is absolutely unafraid. This means that we've had three alignments in this country, in the history of this country. Three alignments, 1980, 1994, and 2008. I should have said in my lifetime. 1980 is the Reagan Revolution, 1994 is the Gingrich Revolution. President Obama wins the tidal wave election in 2008, followed the financial panic and collapse. Those never firmed into a permanent realignment. We have the opportunity actually in front of us to permanently realign, because in each of those instances, for a variety of reasons, presidents departed from the course that they could have taken. When I'll come back to Nixon in a second. 1972 was sort of squandered because he didn't nationalize it. In 1980, President Reagan didn't carry the House with him, so it was necessarily drawn out. In 2008, President Obama went left instead of to the center. President Trump is doing a smart thing. He's going to the center. He's embracing, I'm not going to touch entitlements. I'm not going to in any way damage the working man and woman in the United States. I'm going to be very true to this. So I'm actually very, very hopeful that what happened in 1972 and 1984 is not going to happen this time. Neither of our previous big winning Republican presidents took advantage of the political moment to consolidate and expand the party. I think President Trump's going to be that. In the same time, and I've noticed this, it's hard to miss this, the ascendant left, Democrat, and I know that Job Creators Network is not partisan. I'm partisan. I noticed that Democrats are in disarray, and I'm happy. And I'm very, very happy that AOC and Bernie is where all the energy is. I'm very, very happy that they get 20,000 people. That makes me happy. The only Democrat I've ever voted for in my life is Bernie Sanders. That's because in 2020, I'm a Virginian. Donald Trump's going to be the nominee, so I took in Virginia as a choose your primary state, so I voted for Bernie because he's really their party. He's the heart and soul of their party, and they've let him out of the basement, and AOC is getting the baton packed to her. I think that she's going to be their nominee, and I think that the ascendant left is, I mean, they got AOC, Bernie, and Hogg. It's like they're number 1, 2, and 3. They will draw a crowd. Everybody else is a pretender. There are no moderates. I know there's John Fetterman and Josh Shapiro, but there is no moderate caucus left among the Democratic Party. That's a recipe. That is an amazing recipe. Just like they're the ascendant left, there is no neutral media left. Absolutely not. Now, Wilfred McClay, great professor at Hillsdale College, and we love Hillsdale College, great sponsor of everything good, right, and beautiful. Wilfred's been up there, and he taught at the University of Oklahoma for a number of years. He wrote a book called Land of Hope, and I was interviewing him about his textbook, Land of Hope. And I said, it's an American history textbook. Are you neutral? He said, oh, no, I'm objective, but I am not neutral about my country. I am objective about our history, but I am not neutral about the fact that ours is the greatest, most enduring, most fruitful nation in the history of recorded nations. So I'm that way about the news. I'm objective, but I am not neutral. I am very objective about what is a good move and a bad move, but I am not neutral. I want the Republicans to win. And what I have learned by following, this is my fourth point, following the latest edition of Donald Trump, and there have been many editions of Donald Trump, and I love them all. I was, in fact, I was on Jesse's program on Fox 2 nights ago, and was asked by Jesse off air, what did I think? And I said, I've never seen anything like this. He commands the news cycles in a way, I was in the Reagan White House, we could only hope to do by doing one story a day. President Trump commands the news cycle by doing 40 stories a day and not ever stopping messaging. And I think that this is vitally important. ABC, those of you who can remember Tin Men, always be closing, ABC. President Trump is ABM, always be messaging. How did he close the border? He messaged every day that we had the military at the border, that we had the Border Patrol at the border, that he was resolved about it. He is always messaging. Why do they gather everyone? I asked Administrator Zeldin, I didn't see you at the cabinet meeting when they went around the room. He said, I was there, I spoke. I said, well, I just didn't see the clip, because I love to play those clips. That's about messaging. Always be messaging, because there is no neutral media. What you have to do is replace the media by giving them too much to cover, so they have to pick something from your menu of messages every day, and it's been fabulous. It feeds into what Frank Luntz taught me. Frank has written a lot of books. The most important book Frank wrote is called Words That Work. Deeply influenced. I've been doing the Salem Show for 25 years this July 10, and for those 25 years, early on, I've always liked to talk to authors. I early on learned, I would get mail. What's the name of that book? What's the name of that book? What's the name of that author? Then Vin Scully came on, and Vin Scully told me, he always told the score of a baseball game. Every 3 minutes, he had an egg timer in the booth. And he would always give the score every 3 minutes, because people tune in to the radio, or now, if they're clicking through to the Salem News Channel, they'll come upon you. They won't know who you're talking with. They won't know what you're talking about. You'll be lucky if they know it's you. So I'm always reintroducing myself. And Frank's book, Words That Work, unless you say something 7 times, no one will remember 7 times. And you can say it. So every author and every guest, I teach them now how to say it 7 times, and I study the president, because the president sells all the time. He's a developer. I'm retired from the practice of law now, but I represented developers for a quarter century throughout the West, the Pacific Islands, Hawaii, EPA, Army Corps of Engineers, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. That's what I did. That's what put my kids through college. I'm very glad to have known about this, but I'm now studying the president, who was a developer. Developers are all the same, and they're all very different. Developers who put their names on building, very small group, 20, they're all the same. They will be whomever they need to be in whatever room there is with whomever they are in order to get their project approved and moving fast. And whatever needs to get done, they will get it done, and they will delegate, and they'll break things, and they'll move forward. Because time is money in the development business. So I'm paying very close attention to how he is going to message the next 6 months going forward. Who is he messaging right now? Right now he's messaging his own caucus. The big, beautiful bill, he wanted one, he got one, and he is very close to getting that on his desk on July 4th, and every day he's talking about the one big, beautiful bill. That's the legacy. That's the permanent tax cuts. That's everything's in that one big, beautiful bill. It's got to pass. Got to tell our members to do that. Who else is he messaging? Iran. And Iran's getting a very basic message. You have 2 choices, easy and hard. You can give us the uranium that you've enriched, and you can break the centrifuges, and we can put it on film and take it away, just like Libya did, or we will bomb you. Choice A, choice B. He says it every day. He checks the calendar. If it's an odd day, he gets up and threatens to bomb Iran. If it's an even day, he says, we would like to make peace. And it's actually genius, because they're not really quick on the pickup over there. They're really sort of stuck on the fact that little Satan, big Satan, not realizing that Israel has handed them their head for 18 months, and Trump has got to get through to him We don't have to do this kinetic. That's the new word, kinetically. That means we drop bombs. We can have a deal. And he does it every single day. He's got a better message as well to the Alliance of Tyrants. And the Alliance of Tyrants are Xi and Putin and Khamenei and Venezuela and Cuba. They all get the same message about Donald Trump. You have no idea what I will do. I think it's fabulous to have a president about whom we have no idea what they will do. When Richard Nixon was president, it was called the madman theory. The RN was the opposite of being a madman. Trump is the opposite of being a madman, but he wants everyone to actually worry about what he will do, because that's how you run the world. We're the strongest, we're the biggest, we have the most lethal military. There are some problems, he's fixing those. But the Alliance of Tyrants gets one thing. They get that one thing, which is you have no idea what I do. Do not tick me off. I love that. Point number 9. I got involved in my first political race in 1974. I'm 69 years old. Don't have to do the math. It was the Watergate year. I campaigned for Paul Cronin in Lexington and Concord. He got wiped out. Everybody got wiped out. 76 was an unusual year because we had a sitting president, Gerald Ford, who hadn't been elected. We had a primary challenge from within. And 1976, you may not remember this, there were 17 candidates for president on the Democratic side in 1976. 17. Like Scoop Jackson and Mo Udall, and we had Jerry Brown got in the race when he was like 25 years old, and everybody got in that race, and the guy who won was Carter. And Carter just did it methodically, invented his way. We had 17 candidates. What was interesting about 1976, it was really the last time that we've had really open primaries in both, because there was no sitting vice president either who was challenging the way that George H.W. Bush was going to win in 1980. Well, we're coming up on an election cycle unlike any we've ever had. And I'm just sticking around. God, give me enough life and energy to keep broadcasting for the next 4 to 8 years, because this is going to be a heck of a story. Democrats are going to run a demolition derby among themselves, and it will be wild with AOC. Bernie's going to run again, of course, and AOC is going to run, and Chris Van Hollen, if he gets it back from El Salvador, he's going to run. And they're going to have a complete crack up. Josh Shapiro will run, but Josh is he's a smart guy, by the way, very formidable. He's Jewish, though, and the new Democratic Party doesn't like Israel or Jews much, and so that's going to be trouble for him. What are we going to do? The vice president's doing an amazing bit of business. He is from Ohio, of course, so he went to the Ohio State University. Speaking of which, by the way, all you people get up here and say, "Go Dogs." Didn't see you at the White House for the national championship this year. Wanted to point that out. Ryan Day, Buckeyes were there. No Bulldogs. Go Dogs. Home. Go home. So it's going to be a wild primary. And I don't expect other people not to run. I don't know that Governor Youngkin's going to run. He might. I don't know if Tom Cotton's going to run. He might. I don't know if Elise Stefanik's going to run. He might. But J.D. Vance is doing a heck of a job, and he's funny. And thank God we're turning the page. I'm a boomer. Many of you are boomers. It is time for boomers to kind of get ready to actually get out of the way. And I'm not ready yet. Gallagher's trying to pull me off the stage. I'm not ready yet to get out of the way, but very, very soon. There are 2 things that matter, and they're my last 2 points, and then we'll take a couple questions. Number 1, we just did a panel on education choice. It is the civil rights issue of our time. It is absolutely, when educationfreedomusa.com came up, and Alfredo introduced me to educationfreedomusa.com, I said, bingo. This is where you take the realignment and you make it permanent, because parents are not messing around. Parents, I'm a grandparent now, 6 times over. I've got another one coming in 20 days, number 7. They have to figure out schools. You know, you never had to figure out schools in the 60s. They were all good. I'm a parochial school kid, but they were all good. And now they're all bad. In California, my kids all went to public school. They were great. Now they're all bad. What happened? Well, the education establishment, teachers' unions, too much money, too little accountability. Education freedom is the issue of our time, with one other issue: China. China, as the president likes to say, China. And he gets along fine with Xi, but there are no illusions. Right? He says, oh, he's a tough man. That's the president's highest praise. Tough guy, tough guy. And that's not It's neither a pejorative nor a compliment. It is an objective assessment that Xi is a ruthless, absolutely brutal man, about whom, make no mistake, he wants Taiwan, he wants to dominate the world. He would like us to be, as one of my guests said, an island off to the side. He doesn't want to get into a war with us. We don't want to get into a war with him. The best way to avoid that is to do exactly what President Trump is doing, add $150 billion in a one-time plus up and plus up the bottom line budget and get our Navy up, slim down our Army. It's a magnificent time to be alive if that one big, beautiful bill passes and the realignment happens. And because of people like Job Creators Network and the folks in this room, education choice becomes the banner under which Make America Smart Again. Love the hat. We're going to do that. Thank you for having me. Thank you for supporting Job Creators Network. Thank you to the Marcus family and the foundation for making it happen. We will take questions, but I can't see anybody because the lights are bright, and I made my time too. Unlike Gallagher, who goes over every single time. You know, in the radio business, you got to make your breaks, and in the television business, you got to make your breaks really on time. Mike doesn't learn. He's called Broken Break Mike in the business. So when he comes back up, we're going to pass the hat for you. We're going to get you some clothes. But questions? The young man out here told me questions were coming, so they're not. So I'm just going to bring up Mike Gallagher and get him back on. Mike, are you ready?
Well, I think we have Alfredo coming up, right?
Oh, do we?
Because we have a little surprise.
Oh.
As I understand it. So.
Oh, here he is. See, he's got a nice blazer on. Can you give your blazer to him?
Oh,
There is nothing wrong with this outfit. See what he does to me every time.
Oh, it's silk. Look at that.
Silk.
It's very nice. Very nice,
Kmart.
actually. Well, if you could stand right there, Hugh. All right, see if I can do this right. So, well, first of all, thank you, Hugh, for that powerful and timely speech. I'm sorry I didn't bring my glasses, but if I had my glasses on, I wouldn't be able to see the teleprompter, so that'd be a problem. Your insights today remind us just how important it is to tell the truth, especially when it's not easy and especially when it's not popular. Thank you for articulating that clearly and the accomplishments of the Trump administration so far. But what sets you apart, Hugh, isn't just your knowledge or sharp analysis, it's your courage. In a media landscape too often driven by narratives that instead of facts, you've stood firm. Challenging the, maybe I didn't need my glasses. Maybe I should take yours. Challenging the conventional wisdom, asking the tough questions. You know what they did is they changed the font on the teleprompter on me. And refusing to play along when others cave to groupthink. Oh, thank you very much. And that brings us to something very special that we have for you. Hugh, we at JCN have a surprise for you. Just a small way of recognizing your bravery. Because when the cameras are rolling and the pressure's on, you don't flinch. We all know that. So let's take a moment to remind everyone what we're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at this brief clip from the Washington Post when Hugh showed the kind of spine we all wish more journalists actually had. So let's roll the video.
And I think we are going to see him both rev up his supporters to contest elections outside of courtrooms and go to every courtroom he can in America where it's relevant to make whatever arguments he can, no matter how far-fetched. We saw
Jonathan, I've got
out last time, but it didn't work out this time.
Finish, Hugh.
It may not work. That may not happen this time. And now I'll let you go, Hugh.
Well, I've just got to say, we're news people, even though we're at the opinion section. It's got to be reported. Bucks County was reversed by the court and instructed to open up extra days because they violated the law and told people to go home. So that lawsuit was brought by the Republican National Committee, and it was successful. The Supreme Court ruled that Glenn Youngkin was successful. We are news people, even though we have opinions, and we have to report the whole story if we bring up part of the story. So yes, he's upset about Bucks County, but he was right, and he won in court. That's the story.
I'll let you keep going, Jonathan.
No, I'm just don't appreciate being lectured about reporting when, Hugh, many times you come here saying lots of things that aren't
I won't
based
come
in
back,
fact.
Jonathan. I'm
But
done.
what
I'm done. This is the most unfair election ad I have ever been a part of. You guys are working. That's fine. I'm done.
Oh, I love watching that clip. The look on that guy's face every time gets me, right? It's like, ew. So Hugh, it is my honor to really recognize your spirit of courage, conviction, and unwavering commitment to truth. No one exemplifies these traits better than you do. For decades, you have brought clarity and context to the most complex issues of our time, never shying away from uncomfortable truths. Whether behind the microphone, on the debate stage, or in front of a hostile panel, you never back down. You engage with reason, not with rage. You lead with facts and not with fear. As in today's media environment, there is truth, as in today's media environment where the truth is too often sacrificed for clicks and conformity, that takes real bravery. Hugh, your voice has been a lifeline for small business owners, taxpayers, and citizens who still believe in common sense. So, on behalf of the Job Creators Network, I believe I have something here for you. As long as I don't drop it, I'll be in good shape here. So, on behalf of the Job Creators Network and all of us here today, it is my great privilege to present you with the Bernie Marcus Freedom Fighters Award for your bravery and courage. Awesome. Congratulations.